few years ago, I had the opportunity to work with Dave. We worked for the same company, and Dave happens to be a really talented graphic artist. One year, Dave spent a lot of time working on our company's annual report, and a few months later, we get notified that that annual report had won an award. It was selected as the best annual report in the country for mid-sized businesses. That's a big deal. Now, we all knew that Dave did phenomenal work, but to have that recognized nationally, well, that was a big honor. Now, my office was right next door to Dave's, and what happened next is really interesting and something I think we can learn from. The vice presidents of the company all got together and said, we need to do something special for Dave. And what they decided to do was give the whole company an afternoon off. They catered in food. They brought in a band. They had a big banner that said, "Congratulations, Dave." They essentially took over the whole production floor for the event, and there were people everywhere. But what they never thought about was this important fact. Dave is an introvert, and he hated every moment of it because the spotlight was on him. It was a big event, and he didn't like it one little bit. Now, in talking to him about it after the event, Dave said to me, they spent a lot of money on that. Wages for everyone who got the afternoon off, all that food, all the music. And they could have given me a thank you note and a $50 gift card. It would have saved the company a lot of money, and I would have liked it more. You know what, Dave said? No one even said thanks to me. The leadership lesson in this, for all of us, is that what seemed like a really good idea really wasn't. The VPs meant it in a really great way, but they provided Dave with exactly the kind of celebration that they would have wanted, and not the kind of celebration that was meaningful to Dave. Now, as you go into the material for this week, I'd like you to keep that in mind. One of the components that we're looking at this week is motivation. And the Dave story demonstrates this. Motivation is always personal. Now, that doesn't mean that all motivation has to be individual or that you can't motivate a group. What it means is that people take motivation personally. They receive it as individuals, even when being recognized as a group. Now, it needs to be taken personally, and it needs to address the individual. It needs to get to the core of who they are. That happens whether you're trying to motivate or reward an individual or an entire group of people. So keep this in mind. Motivation is always personal. So as you look at the material for this week, it helps us if we understand our own wiring, and it helps us to be attuned to other people's wiring and what their preferences are. Now, we're not going to dig into that too much more in this course, but keep in mind that the kind of motivation, the kind of leadership, and the kind of care-abouts that happen in the workplace, those are always founded on our personhood and our individual preferences. Now, over the next couple of weeks, as we talk about organizations and even local cultures, some of these ideas will really come to the forefront. I think that some of these ideas are starting to mesh for you. You're starting to bring them into sharper focus as you recognize how deeply some of these leadership concepts are interwoven with one another. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Enjoy the rest of the material, and thanks very much.